Now, everything you knew about chiropractic education is today wrong. And if you're a recent graduate or a current student thinking your degree prepared you for modern practice today, you're about to discover why 60% of new chiropractors fail within their first 5 years, while the profession transforms around outdated educational models. I've observed thousands of newly licensed chiropractors enter our great profession with exceptional clinical skills, but zero understanding of how patients actually choose providers and what they expect from care or how to build sustainable practices in an increasingly competitive marketplace. Chiropractic colleges, they still teach students to adjust spines really well and diagnose conditions. However, the communication is like it's 1995. Meanwhile, tomorrow's patients demand integrated wellness solutions. They demand technology-enabled care and business models that didn't exist when current curricula were designed. The gap between classroom education today and real-world practice requirements is widening every single year, creating a generation of clinically competent but practically unprepared practitioners. By 2030, the chiropractors who thrive won't just be the ones with the best adjustment techniques or clinical care techniques. They'll be the ones who understand that success requires skills chiropractic schools never taught them. They don't have time. I'm Dr. Chris Tomshack, and after helping independent chiropractors bridge the education reality gap for decades, I can tell you that the future belongs to doctors who recognize that their formal education was just the beginning, not the complete preparation for building successful practice whatsoever. So the first breakthrough principle is what I call clinical versus commercial reality. And it exposes the massive disconnect between what chiropractic schools teach about patient care and what actually determines practice success in competitive markets today. So most chiropractic education focuses intensively on clinical diagnosis, treatment protocols, and regulatory compliance while providing minimal preparation for patient acquisition, patient retention, and practice management that determines whether graduates can build sustainable careers or whether they have to work for somebody else for the bulk of their career. What I consistently see across successful practitioners is the recognition that clinical excellence is just the entry requirement. Practice success depends on business skills that weren't even mentioned in their formal education. Picture this scenario. Chiropractic school teaches students to perform comprehensive examinations, develop detailed treatment plans, and deliver evidence-based care to patients who are assumed to value clinical excellence above all other factors. Real practice requires understanding that patients choose providers based on convenience, cost, communication style, and perceived value rather than clinical credentials or treatment sophistication. That's the hard truth. You got the same clinical competency, completely different success factors and competitive advantages in actual practice environments today. So here's how you apply this same approach. First, recognize that new patient acquisition depends more on marketing skills, relationship building, and value communication than clinical expertise, requiring continuous education and business development that your formal training never provided. Second, understand that patient retention relies on experience design, on communication effectiveness, and on outcome demonstration rather than just treatment quality, demanding skills in customer service and relationship management that you probably weren't taught. Now, third, accept that practice profitability requires understanding of financial management, of operational efficiencies and economies of scale, and strategic positioning that most chiropractors learn through expensive trial, if they learn it ever, and potentially by massive costly errors, rather than formal preparation, which is the easiest way to do it. So this creates what I call reality-based education, where you acknowledge the gap between academic preparation and practical requirements, and then systematically develop the non-clinical skills that actually determine practice success. But business awareness is basically just the foundation. The second strategy is what I call traditional versus integrated care models. And it reveals why chiropractors trained in traditional adjustment-focused approaches really struggle to compete with doctors offering comprehensive wellness solutions, which incorporates so much more. This pattern emerges when smart practitioners understand that tomorrow's patients, they expect integrated care that addresses multiple health factors simultaneously rather than isolated treatments that focus solely on musculoskeletal conditions. In my experience with independent chiropractors who've built just thriving practices which are sustainable over the long term, the most successful of them have moved far beyond their formal training to develop capabilities in nutrition, in stress management, in lifestyle optimization, in learning the newest rehabilitative techniques, which are high tech, and also getting an acquaintance with functional medicine that chiropractic school never covered. So picture this scenario. Traditional chiropractic education, well, they train students to diagnose and treat spinal dysfunction through manual therapy and a basic prescription. Now, tomorrow's successful practitioners, they integrate nutritional counseling, stress management protocols, sleep optimization strategies, and performance enhancements and optimization techniques that create comprehensive wellness solutions patients will not find anywhere else. Same foundational training, completely different scope expansion and market positioning opportunities as a result of that. So here's how you apply this same approach. First, invest in post-grad education that expands your clinical capabilities beyond what you learned in school, beyond that traditional chiropractic scope, to include a foundation in functional medicine, nutritional counseling, high-tech rehabilitative technology, and lifestyle optimization that addresses root cause rather than just symptoms. And then second, develop partnerships with other healthcare providers who can complement your skills and create comprehensive care teams that offer solutions your competitors just can't match. And then third, position your practice as a wellness optimization center rather than just a pain relief clinic, attracting patients who want comprehensive health improvement rather than just symptom management. This transforms your practice positioning from traditional healthcare provider to a comprehensive wellness expert, creating competitive advantages that graduates with only formal training can't match. Now, the third strategy amplifies this even further. And so the fourth principle I want to discuss today is what I call employment versus entrepreneurship preparation. And it highlights the devastating gap between academic training that assumes employment opportunities with larger clinics and the reality that most successful chiropractors must build their own practices from scratch. I consistently see new graduates struggle because chiropractic education prepares them to be employees in established practices or adjustment factories rather than entrepreneurs who must create their own opportunities in saturated markets. And what I've discovered from working with successful independent chiropractors is that practice ownership requires skills in business development, in financial management, in learning what a P&L and a balance sheet is and how to use them, and learning and understanding great depth marketing and marketing strategies, and strategic planning that academic programs in chiropractic colleges never address pretty much at all. So picture this scenario. Chiropractic education assumes graduates will find employment in existing practices where patient flow, administrative systems, and business operations are already established. They don't have to learn those at this point. Now, reality is very different. It requires most graduates to build practices from scratch, from nothing, out of the ether, requiring entrepreneurial skills in market analysis, in business planning, financial management, and competitive positioning that they never learned in chiro school. You got the same clinical preparation, completely different business reality and success requirements. So here's your implementation strategy. First, develop entrepreneurial skills through business education, mentorship programs, and practical training and practice development that supplements your clinical education with real-world business knowledge, which is what it takes to be successful today. And then second, create financial literacy and practice management capabilities that enable you to build sustainable businesses rather than provide clinical services within someone else's established system. Third, build networks with successful doctors who can provide guidance, support, and practical knowledge about practice development that academic institutions cannot offer, don't know how to offer. This positions you as a business-savvy healthcare entrepreneur rather than just a clinically trained employee of somebody else, hoping someone else will create opportunities for you. Dramatically improving your chances of building a successful independent practice. So if you're ready to stop struggling with the gap, that massive gap between your formal education and real-world practice requirements today, and start developing the business skills that actually determine chiropractic success, visit apexlongevity.com. I've developed practice development systems that help independent chiropractors like you bridge that education reality gap and build the comprehensive skills necessary for thriving in tomorrow's competitive healthcare marketplace. So thanks for watching. If you found value here, like, follow, share, and please say something kind. Have an amazing day and also have an amazing life.